Chase Briscoe steps into the number 19 tonight, a car shaped by a champion and judged by history. The team is the same, the expectations are the same, the pressure is even heavier. One short race, no time to settle in, no room for mistakes. Can Briscoe prove he belongs before the lights go out? The moment Chase Briscoe rolls onto the track tonight, an era quietly ends and another begins. The number 19 Toyota pulls away from pit road not just as another entry in the field, but as the latest chapter in one of NASCAR's most demanding seats. For the first time in competition, Chase Briscoe officially represents Joe Gibbs Racing in the car once defined by a champion. This is not a test session. This is not a media day. This is racing, and it begins tonight at the Clash. The significance of this moment cannot be separated from who came before him. For nearly 2 decades, the number 19 carried the steady presence of Martin Truex Jr. Truex turned the car into a symbol of precision and patience. Championships were not built on chaos, but on control. Year after year, the number 19 showed up prepared, disciplined, and dangerous. Replacing that kind of legacy is never simple, and no driver steps into that seat without understanding the weight attached to it. For Briscoe, the journey to this point has been anything but comfortable. His rise through NASCAR was built on adaptability, dirt racing roots, late models, Xfinity success, a Cup career that demanded growth through adversity. He learned quickly that raw speed alone is never enough at the highest level. Survival comes from understanding people, systems, and pressure. That education prepared him for an opportunity like this, but preparation does not erase expectation. Joe Gibbs Racing does not operate in maybes. The organization exists to win championships. Every decision is filtered through that lens. When JGR chose Briscoe to succeed Truex, the message was clear. This was not a placeholder move. This was a long-term commitment. And with that commitment came a crucial choice that shapes everything happening tonight. The decision to pair Briscoe with crew chief James Small was not about comfort. It was about continuity. Small had spent years building a communication style around Truex's methodical approach. He understands how the number 19 team functions under pressure. The concern was never whether Small could adjust. The question was whether Briscoe could connect quickly enough to extract performance from a system built for excellence. Early signs suggest that connection formed faster than many expected. Throughout preseason testing and internal reviews, team leadership repeatedly pointed to chemistry. Not chemistry in a vague sense, but in the way feedback flows during runs. Briscoe communicates clearly. Small responds decisively. Adjustments are made without hesitation. That matters more at the Clash than at almost any other event. That clarity becomes critical once the race begins. There is no time for long explanations or second guesses. Calls must be trusted immediately, and confidence in those calls can determine whether a driver gains positions or loses control of the situation. When communication breaks down at the Clash, the consequences arrive within laps, not stages. The Clash is not a normal race. It is short, intense, unforgiving. There is no long runway to settle in. Mistakes carry immediate consequences. For a driver debuting in a new organization, it is the ultimate stress test. Every radio call is amplified. Every restart is a referendum. Every decision is visible. Beyond the spotlight of tonight's race sits a broader reality about how success is measured at Joe Gibbs Racing. Wins matter, but patterns matter more. The organization studies trends in decision-making, reaction under stress, and how quickly a driver adapts when conditions change. For Briscoe, every lap at the Clash feeds into that evaluation. This is not about proving speed. That has already been established. This is about proving alignment. The Clash forces drivers to make choices faster than usual. There is less time to wait, less time to recover, less margin for error. In that environment, habits are exposed. Drivers either trust their instincts or hesitate. Teams either communicate cleanly or fall behind. Briscoe's ability to stay decisive while absorbing input from the pit box will be one of the most closely watched elements of the night. Fans understand this pressure, which is why anxiety surrounds tonight's debut. Supporters want to believe Briscoe can succeed. Skeptics question whether he can replicate Truex's consistency. The truth sits somewhere in between. No driver replaces a champion by imitation. Success comes from building something new inside an old structure. Another layer to this debut is how the rest of the garage responds. Respect in NASCAR is not given through announcements. It is earned through behavior, how Briscoe races those around him, how he defends position, how he gives space when necessary and takes it when it matters. The number 19 will be treated differently now. Rivals expect it to be competitive. They will not be generous. This is where experience becomes currency. Briscoe has raced short tracks, dirt tracks, road courses, and superspeedways. He has learned to survive in unpredictable environments. That versatility is part of why Joe Gibbs Racing believed he could handle this transition. The Clash compresses chaos into a short window, demanding flexibility rather than perfection. There is also the matter of identity. The number 19 has long been associated with smooth execution and minimal mistakes. Fans grew accustomed to seeing it near the front through discipline rather than aggression. Briscoe does not erase that identity. He reshapes it. His driving style brings a sharper edge, and how that edge integrates into the team's philosophy will determine how dangerous this car becomes across the season. That balance is not theoretical. It is tested in real situations where restraint and urgency collide. There will be laps where patience is rewarded and others where hesitation becomes a liability. The challenge for Briscoe is learning when to lean into the edge he brings and when to let the system do the work. At Joe Gibbs Racing, success often comes from resisting the urge to force outcomes, understanding that rhythm is part of earning trust. Behind the scenes, engineers and analysts are watching throttle traces, brake inputs, and steering data. They are comparing how the car responds under Briscoe versus historical baselines. They study how quickly he commits on corner entry, how he manages wheel slip in traffic, and how consistently he hits his marks over short runs. This information feeds into long-term development. Tonight's race may be short, but its data value is enormous. It helps define setup directions, communication habits, and even strategic tendencies that will surface later in the year. Briscoe approaches this moment without illusion. He has acknowledged openly that the number 19 comes with expectations unlike any he has faced before. At previous stops, development was part of the equation. There was room to experiment, room to explain, room to miss. At Joe Gibbs Racing, development happens in the margins. The baseline is already elite. Improvement must be immediate, controlled, and repeatable. Small gains matter, mistakes linger. The emotional weight of this moment should not be overlooked. Replacing a champion is rarely smooth. Comparisons are inevitable. Every run is measured against memory. Every radio exchange is heard through the echo of what came before. Briscoe understands that resisting that noise is essential. The only way forward is consistency, not chasing validation, not forcing moments, letting performance speak over time.